Book of the Week, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Hello, everybody. It's Jason Barlow, RMT, and I'm here today as your therapist and coach to help you learn how quickly to transform your stress, your tension and pain into health, happiness, and vitality. Now, for anybody that's joining me live right now, what I'd like you to do in the comments below, just click and leave me a note, because I'm going to ask somebody eventually, or a couple of people, to give me some examples, some stress or tension that you've got going on. Elbow pain, I've got neck pain, I've got back pain, hip pain. What I'd like to do is be able to use examples from those people that are watching me right now, listening in, and then I'll reference that as we go through today with respect to this book. Louise Hay provides an incredible insight to the psychosomatic influences that your thoughts and your behaviors, therefore, have upon your physical body. I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I talk about it in my own book, the 15-Step Playbook for Pain Relief, that we have over 30,000, and some say even up to 70,000. But just imagine, there's a lot of thoughts that you have every day, cycling constantly through your mind. Sometimes it's the same thoughts. Sometimes it's thoughts that have completely gone off in a completely different tangent. You're like, where did that thought even come from? Until we learn how to control our mind, that's what our mind is constantly doing. It's distracted and taking us off in all directions, which is why then a lot of people struggle to balance their mind. And a lot of beginners of meditation go, this is nonsense. Throw that one out the window. Why? Because they get frustrated and overwhelmed by the volume of thoughts that are coming up. Now, from my own experience being a meditator, I highly recommend just to be patient and be persistent. Now, Louise Hay's work goes deeper into the manifestations of physical pain and disease from those thoughts that we're talking about right now. There's a huge connection between our emotions and the physical expression of them. So, for example, do you ever say, he is a pain in the neck, she is a pain in the neck, he is a pain in the ass, she's a pain in the ass? And do you then find that you actually suffer with a pain in the neck, a pain in the ass? Observe, watch yourself, catch yourself. Only you can do this. I'm here to coach and teach. You got to take it away. It's medicine. You got to take the medicine. Test it for yourself. This is my own personal experience. I'm just here to share it with you. Try it, test it, experiment. And if you find that it's working for you, that's been my experience, then keep doing it. If it's bringing positivity in your life, if it's bringing more healing, health, happiness, that's what we're all after. Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, plunges a little deeper down that rabbit hole and explains how there are two origins of all pain and disease from a psychosomatic point of view. They are fear and anger. Fear and anger. So question yourself, do I have fears? And what are they revolving around? I mean, there's one thing to say I have a fear of snakes, but how often in your practical day-to-day life are you actually encountering snakes? I'm talking about the deeper fears, the ones that are stopping you from fulfilling the life that you'd like to lead or pursuing the goals that you'd like to pursue. You make that personal for yourself. It's usually you're feeling inhibited, you're fearful, you're afraid, you don't want to take that next step. Well, I don't want to take that next step. Louise Hay's book is going into this in terms of how is that manifesting on a physical level. I don't want to take the next step. You're thinking that you're holding yourself back, and guess what? You might find that you have lower extremity pain, foot pain, heel pain, unexplained pain. And this is what I'm so fascinated by being a health practitioner, massage therapist, is I work on the physical body most all the day. I love to probe into the mind and talk about the psychosomatic influences, but not everybody's invested in that. I am, but not everybody that I work with is. And so for me, especially if a patient's coming in, and we've been working diligently on stretching and exercises, and we've also been doing a lot of deep tissue work, but that relief isn't coming, I encourage people to go read this book because there could be an emotional connection that's actually blocking them from getting even more benefit in the therapy that we're actually doing here on the table. I remember years ago, I had a patient who came to me with a chronic low back pain situation. She came to see me twice, 3 times a week. She was also seeing a chiropractor, same volume of times a week. She did this for several weeks. Her pain didn't really resolve. She felt a bit better for having had the massage and the chiropractic adjustment, but she wasn't getting the results that she was seeking. And we didn't see her, right? She was obviously feeling futile. It wasn't working for her. And, I consider people's money, cash flow situations. So she didn't continue to come and see us. About 5 years later, we were at a friend's mutual party, and we were chatting, and I said, hey, if you don't mind me asking, how's that lower back doing? That's the last time I'd seen you. She said, you know what? My pain went away once my divorce was all finalized. Now, that was an example. Patient coming to see me, I had no idea at that time. She wasn't vocal, she wasn't expressing, she wasn't talking about that emotional pain she was carrying, but yet it was manifesting in her lower back. And only once that had ceased in her life, the divorce and the emotional trauma that goes with that process for her, then her back pain spontaneously resolved. Interesting. I posted a video link below. That video is from an Ohio pain treatment clinic, Dr. Hal Blaitman. And during a conference a few years ago, he presented this video. And the video illustrates 2 things. This lady goes in, she has pain on her right shoulder, what we call a trigger point, which a trigger point is just like getting gum stuck in hair and somebody's trying to comb it out. It's really painful. And it also then refers pain to other parts of the body. She didn't have that on her left. They put on 2 probes and they actually examined the electrical activity in those muscles. The one on the right was exceedingly noisy. You'll see this in the video. The one on the left, not so noisy. They did 2 things after that. Number 1, they asked her to sit with a pair of headphones and she listened to this guided meditation. The one on the right that was really noisy started to diminish on that graph, on that scale, almost equal to the one on the left. All she was doing was relaxing and allowing her mind to follow this guided meditation. Once she was done, it almost was comparable between the right and the left. Then she had to do a stress test. The stress test, which was stage number 2, headphones came off, and this lady asked her to, as quickly as she possibly can, count down in multiples of 7 from a particular number. I forget what it was. Let's say it's 10,433. Imagine that, though. I ask you right now, from 10,433, count down in multiples of 7 as quick as you can. Go. No, that's wrong. Do it again. Right, move on, next one. And I constantly push you to get a quick answer. And what happened on these probes that were on her muscles is the right side now started to go even noisier on that chart than it was when she walked in the clinic. Purpose of the video, purpose of the story I'm sharing is that, again, she had an experience of relaxing her mind and her trigger point pain suppressed, reduced. It was a connection between the mind and the body. And then when she was put into a stressful situation, doing a mathematical test, her pain levels went up. Now, in your life, how would that stress test be applied? What I mean by that is, I have 4 boys. I'm married. I'm an entrepreneur. I just found out my business has to close for another month due to this COVID pandemic. Those are the stress tests that we're getting every day. How we choose to respond to them is dictating how our physical expression of health and happiness is showing itself. That's my experience from a health professional point of view and a personal level. I implore you, go get this book, read it this week. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and plunge into how fear and anger are holding you back and potentially being the root cause of your stress, your tension, and pain. What I thought I'd finish off by doing is just one of the wonderful tools in her book is this brilliant glossary that she has. It's fairly extensive, and it basically illustrates on the left-hand side, the pain or problem that you're having, the disease that you're having, followed by the column next is probable cause on an emotional level, and the third column is the new thought pattern that you can cultivate and what that looks like. So let's pick one right away here, for example. Big one from my point of view is adrenal problems, right? Adrenal stress is huge. I would put it a very close second to dealing with the mind, right? The mind-body connection is number one from my point of view. Number two would be adrenal stress and dealing with that. So adrenal problems, which includes Addison's disease and Cushing's disease as well. But anybody who's in a high stress situation, the probable cause on an emotional level, Louise Hay would say defeatism, no longer caring for the self, anxiety. And her new thought pattern or affirmation that she recommends is, I love and approve of myself. It is safe for me to care for myself. I love and approve of myself. It is safe for me to care for myself. Pretty cool. There's so many in here. Deal with that fear, deal with that anger. It'll never go away until you tackle it headstrong. Stop being distracted. Read books that are going to empower you, that are actually going to facilitate and bring more emotional health and ultimately express themselves on a physical level as more health, more happiness, and vitality. Thank you for joining me today. Jason Barlow, RMT. Go to my website, jasonbarlowrmt.com. From there, you can download my book for free. Yeah, it's free. All you have to do, just give me your email. I'll send you an email with my book. You can download it onto your smartphone, put it on your computer. Great. Then what you got to do, you got to read it. Then you got to apply it. And once you've applied it and you've got experiences with it, I want you to send it off to at least 3 of your friends. Just take the copy you've got even and port it onto them, email it onto them. I want to spread this message to everybody. There is a way to resolve your stress, your tension, and pain. We've got to figure out the origin of it. We want to transform it into health, happiness, and vitality. And remember, your muscle health is my #1 priority. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you guys next week.